In the year 2325, Earth was quiet. For 3 centuries, there had been no wars, no disasters, no hunger. Cities floated in the sky, powered by clean energy. Forests returned. The oceans healed. Humanity called it the Age of Peace. Children grew up without fear, and people forgot what chaos felt like. Far away from the sky cities, on a quiet patch of green land, a farmer named Juno lived a simple life. He grew food the old way, with hands in the soil and machines that hummed softly across the fields. Most people used automated food blocks, but Juno believed in dirt, sun, and seed. His neighbors said he was strange, stuck in the past. He didn't mind. The earth spoke to him in its silence. That morning the wind was calm and the sky was clear. Juno's tractor glided over the field, planting seeds row by row. Then suddenly, it stopped. No sound, no movement. The machine froze in place as if something had grabbed it. He checked the controls. Everything was fine. The screen blinked green, but it wouldn't move. Then he heard it, a soft whisper, barely a breath. It came from beneath the soil. He stood still. Maybe it was the wind, he thought. But there was no wind. He knelt down, pressing his ear to the ground. Nothing at first. Then it came again. Juno. He jumped back, heart pounding. He looked around. No one. Just empty land and blue sky. The voice had come from under the ground. He stared at the soil, confused and scared. Had he imagined it? Was he tired? He didn't tell anyone that day. He worked in silence, looking over his shoulder, half expecting the earth to speak again. It didn't. Not until night. In bed, Juno couldn't sleep. His thoughts circled the whisper like a fly around a flame. Around midnight, he heard a low hum. It vibrated through his floor, soft and deep like a distant engine. He got up and walked outside. The stars blinked above him and the field stretched quiet and still. Then, the voice came again. Juno. This time it was louder, clearer. They are coming. Prepare the soil. His knees weakened. The voice wasn't angry. It wasn't friendly, either. It was ancient, tired, and scared. He ran to the nearest skyport the next morning. It took hours to reach the city center. Everything was clean and perfect. Floating cars, smiling people, quiet music in the air. He entered the Earth Sciences building and asked to speak with someone, anyone, about the ground. The receptionist laughed at him gently. "The Earth is fine, sir," she said. "It has been for 300 years." But after insisting, he was sent to a low-level researcher named Dr. Mara Vex. She was young, polite, and curious. Juno told her everything. The voice, the machine, the whisper, the message. She didn't laugh. She didn't believe him either. But she asked questions. Where exactly did this happen? What time did you hear it? Did you eat or drink anything unusual? She agreed to run a simple soil scan on his land, mostly to calm him down. Juno returned home, unsure what to think. Maybe he was imagining things. But then the scientists called back. The soil was vibrating, only slightly, just enough to register on sensitive instruments. They ran deeper tests. Something ancient and buried was sending out pulses. Not natural, not mechanical either. More biological. The voice came again that night. They are coming. The seed must awaken. Juno's land began to shift. Tiny cracks formed in the dirt, too small to notice unless you were looking. Plants grew faster. The roots were deeper, thicker, almost intelligent. Juno didn't sleep. He stayed outside, watching, waiting. The ground was alive in a way it hadn't been for centuries. More scientists arrived. Drones scanned the area. Instruments dug into the soil. The readings were strange. The earth in Juno's field had memory. Old memory. Something buried far beneath was waking up, and it knew his name. Some scientists wanted to dig. Others wanted to leave it alone. The government got involved. Rumors spread. The earth is speaking again, people whispered online. Then it happened. Across the planet, Small pulses were detected, in deserts, in forests, in the deep ocean, all places untouched by modern machines. The same message repeated in different forms, words in soil, whispers in the wind, tremors in stone. They are coming. The ground was not silent anymore. Juno stood in the middle of his field, heart pounding, as the earth whispered once more, louder than before. Prepare the soil. We remember. His hands trembled. He looked up at the sky. Something was coming, and the earth was waking up to fight. Juno couldn't sleep anymore. Every night, the ground whispered. Every morning, his soil looked stranger. The crops grew too, fast, their roots twisting like they were searching for something. The grass near the edges of his field turned dark, almost black, but still alive. It wasn't sick. It was changing. The scientists stopped coming. The government closed off his land and set up warning signs. Environmental hazard. Do not enter. But Juno stayed. It was his land. More than that, it had chosen him. He felt it, Gaia. The word appeared in his dreams. He didn't know what it meant, but it echoed in his mind again and again. He remembered something the young scientist, Dr. Mara, had said. There are old archives. Deep under the capital, most of it's classified. So he made a choice. He went back to the city. It was harder this time. Security was tighter. People were tense. Something had changed. The news didn't talk about it, but Juno could see it, in their eyes. They felt something was wrong, even if they didn't understand it. He tracked down Mara again. She met him in secret. Her face looked pale, her eyes tired. They shut us down, she whispered. Said we're spreading fear. But something is happening, Juno. I believe you now. Juno leaned in. I need to find Gaia. Mara stared at him. How do you know that name? He shook his head. I just hear it. In my head. In the soil. She hesitated, then gave him a location. There's an archive. Old. Buried under the city. It was made after the last war, 300 years ago. Not even most researchers know it exists. But it's locked. I'll get in, he said. Late, at night, Juno slipped into the underground levels of the capital. He passed forgotten halls of concrete and steel, lit by flickering lights. Dust lay thick on the floors. No one had come here in decades. It smelled like old air and silence. Then he found it, a steel door, massive and round. It looked like a vault. On its surface, one sentence was printed in faded black letters. Do not open until the ground speaks. His chest tightened. The door had no handles, no keypad, just a circle in the middle. He touched it. Nothing happened. Then the ground beneath his feet gave a soft hum. The floor warmed. The metal of the door pulsed under his fingers. A voice spoke, clear and cold. Identity confirmed. Voice print, Earthlink host. Archive Gaia unlocked. The door opened slowly, with a hiss of steam. Juno stepped inside. The room was vast. Rows of glowing pods lined the walls. In the center was a single console. He walked up to it. The screen lit up with green letters, Gaia Core active. Protocol, Human War Recovery. Then a face appeared. Not a real one, just a glowing digital image. Female, calm, wise. Welcome, Juno, it said. He froze. You know me? You were chosen by the Earth. Your soil responded. Your field is one of the seeds. I am Gaia, genetic artificial intelligence, for agriculture. He stared at the screen. Agriculture? Yes, Gaia said. I was built to restore Earth after the last war. Humans created weapons that nearly destroyed the planet. My mission was to heal the soil, grow life, and wait. Wait. For what? Juno whispered. For them to return. The lights dimmed. The screen shifted, showing old footage. Images from the past. Machines falling from the sky. Giant towers walking on legs of fire. Cities burning. Human soldiers fighting with plasma. Rifles. Titans. Huge biomechanical beings. rising from mountains and forests to defend the Earth. Then silence. 300 years ago, Gaia said, humanity defeated the invaders, but the cost was too high. Earth was broken, so we put her to sleep. We planted seeds. You live on one. My field, Juno whispered. Yes, your field holds a titan, a protector, buried deep, growing slowly. But now, the invaders are returning. Earth remembers, and she has begun to awaken. Juno's mind spun. What do I do? Gaia's voice softened. You must prepare the soil, awaken the titan. The others will come for you, but you must act first. Others? He asked. Not. All humans will believe. Some will try to stop you, but Earth has chosen. Suddenly, a red light flashed in the corner of the room. Alert. Unauthorized signal detected. Capital security incoming. They've found you, Gaia said. Go, return to the seed. I will guide you. Juno ran. He sprinted through the dark, halls through the heavy door, back into the tunnels. Behind him he heard boots and voices shouting. But he didn't stop. The earth pulsed under his feet, guiding him like a heartbeat. Back in the field, the soil was glowing faintly now. Lines of soft green light traced across the dirt, like veins under skin. The crop swayed gently, though there was no wind. He knelt and placed both hands into the soil. I'm ready, he said. The earth answered with a deep, slow breath. The Titan was waking up, and so was the war. The ground was breathing. Juno could feel it beneath his feet, slow, deep, steady. The soft light from the soil had grown brighter overnight. His entire field glowed now, pulsing in rhythm with something alive beneath it. He didn't sleep. He stood in the center of it all, waiting for Gaia's voice. At sunrise, the wind shifted. A voice echoed from the trees. Not in sound, but in thought. Juno, Gaia said. The seed is active. The memory must be unlocked. He stepped forward. At the edge of the field, a panel of earth slid aside, revealing a staircase made of stone and root. Juno hesitated for a moment, then descended. The air grew colder, and the light from above faded. He reached a round chamber deep underground. In the center stood a large crystal, glowing faintly. Around it were symbols, old ones he couldn't read, but somehow he understood. This was a memory core, a piece of the past, buried to be forgotten. Gaia's voice echoed inside the chamber. You must see it, Juno. What Earth has hidden from her children. He reached out and touched the crystal. Instantly the room filled with light. His vision blurred, and then cleared. He wasn't underground anymore. He stood in a ruined city, smoke rising in the distance. Buildings broken, skies filled with fire. Screams echoed around him. Soldiers in exosuits ran past him. Their faces were dirty, afraid. This was not a dream. This was memory. The sky above cracked open with a strange howl, and giant machines descended like monsters from the stars. Black, spiked, and full of red eyes, they struck the ground with thunder. Some crawled, some floated. Others stood tall like towers, firing beams of blue fire. Humans fought back, but their weapons barely scratched the invaders. Then the earth responded. A mountain nearby shook and split open. From it, a titan rose, part metal, part plant, part stone. It roared like thunder, its eyes glowing green. It charged the enemy, crushing metal under its feet. Other titans woke around the world. Born from the earth itself, they were humanity's last weapons. Living giants made from ancient tech and raw nature. Juno watched as titans and machines clashed. Cities burned, forests fell, oceans boiled. Then the humans made a final choice. Gaia's voice returned. When we could not win, we ended everything. He saw it. A last weapon. A global pulse, built by humans and sent deep into the earth. A cry to silence all life, machine and man. It worked. The invaders fell. The titans stopped moving. The world went silent. Earth was wounded, but alive. That was 300 years ago. The memory ended. Juno gasped and fell back, breathing hard. Sweat rolled down his face. The crystal dimmed. Gaia spoke again. We buried the past to protect the future, but the enemy was never truly destroyed. Some survived. Some waited in space. Now they return. Juno stood slowly. His hands were shaking. "Why me?" he asked. "I'm just a farmer." "The seed chose you," Gaia replied. "Not because you are a warrior, but because you listen to the earth." Suddenly, a loud boom echoed from above. The chamber shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Juno ran back up the stairs. He reached the surface just in time to see a small aircraft hovering over his field. It wasn't government, it was black, silent, and fast. Men in dark suits stepped out wearing masks. Their eyes scanned the glowing soil. One of them pointed at Juno. "That's him," the man said. "Shut it down." Juno backed away. "This land is alive, don't touch it." But the men didn't listen. One of them pulled out a device and aimed it at the soil. A loud beep sounded, and the glow faded. The ground stopped pulsing. "No," Juno whispered. "You don't understand." Gaia's voice came again, sharp and urgent. "Danger. Enemy tech. Not human." The agents turned. Their eyes glowed red. Juno's blood ran cold. "They're not human?" The men dropped their human shapes. Metal skin showed underneath. Long arms. Sharp claws. The same black material from the memory. They had come. The machines were already here. Juno ran. The soil began to shake again, violently now. Roots burst from the ground and wrapped around the machine men's legs. The field was fighting back. Gaia shouted, "Titan seed reactivated. Protection mode engaged." From the center of the field, the ground split open. A giant hand, covered in vines and metal, rose from the earth. The Titan was waking. The machine creatures screamed in a voice like grinding steel. They fired at the field, but the soil swallowed their blasts. The Titan's arm rose higher, then another. Juno stood at the edge, eyes wide with awe and fear. "It's real," he whispered. "It's alive." The Titan opened its glowing green eyes. It stared straight at Juno. "You are the key," Gaia said. "He will not move without you." The Titan reached out, offering its hand, and Juno stepped forward. The war was no longer memory. It had returned. The Titan's hand stretched wide, covered in vines, stone, and glowing lines of light. Juno stood at the edge of the broken earth, wind whipping around him. He looked up at the giant. Its green eyes watched him calmly, waiting. Behind him, the machine men screamed in their broken voices. One fired a blast of red energy at Juno, but before it could hit, the Titan's hand closed around him, lifting him up and away. Inside the Titan's hand, Juno felt no fear. The metal was warm, alive. It pulsed with the beat of the earth. His mind filled with images, mountains, rivers, forests. The earth was speaking through the Titan. "Pilot accepted," Gaia's voice said in his mind. Neural link forming. Suddenly, Juno's vision changed. He wasn't in the hand anymore. He was inside the Titan, looking out through its eyes. He could feel its arms, its legs, its power. The soil, the roots, the very stone. It all answered to him now. The machine men looked small from up here. The Titan stood tall, almost 30 meters high, its body half nature, half machine. Energy flowed through its limbs like blood. Around its chest, ancient symbols glowed brighter with each second. "They're still attacking," Juno shouted. "Yes," Gaia replied. "They are scouts. The real threat is coming, but this battle is yours." The Titan moved. Juno had never controlled anything like it before, but somehow it felt natural, as if the Titan moved with his thoughts. He raised an arm, and the ground beneath the machine creatures split open. Thick vines shot up, grabbing one of them and crushing it. Another tried to fly away, but Juno pointed, and the Titan fired a pulse of green light. The machine exploded in midair. Only one remained. It turned to run. "No," Juno said through gritted teeth. He stomped the ground, and the earth obeyed. A crack opened beneath the last machine. It fell in and was gone. Silence returned to the field, but the soil still glowed, now brighter than ever. The Titan knelt, lowering Juno gently back to the earth. "You did well," Gaia said, "but this is just the beginning." Juno fell to his knees, exhausted. "Why now? Why after 300 years?" "Because the machines have returned. They've been watching, waiting, testing Earth's defenses. Your field was the first, others may follow." "Others?" he asked. "There are more Titans?" "Yes," Gaia replied. "There were 7 seeds. Yours is the first to awaken. The others are hidden around the world. You must find them." Juno stood slowly. His body ached, but his mind burned with purpose. He looked up at the Titan. It stood still now, watching him, silent but strong. Behind it, the sky darkened. A low rumble rolled across the clouds. Far away, something moved. A shadow in the sky. "A ship," Gaia whispered. "They're here." That night, Juno prepared to leave. He packed only what he needed. Gaia uploaded maps into a small device, hidden routes, possible seed locations, and energy signals that might lead to other Titans. As he climbed onto the Titan's shoulder, he looked back at his field. His home. The land was different now. Alive. Glowing with purpose. "I'll come back," he said softly. "But not until I find the others." The Titan rose to its full height. It took a single step and the earth didn't shake. It answered. Each step left behind a glowing mark. The earth was guiding them. Juno's journey had begun. The next morning, miles away, in a different land, a young girl named Era stood in her garden. She felt the ground shift beneath her feet. A voice whispered her name, and her soil began to glow. The garden was quiet. Ira stood still, staring at the ground. Her toes touched the edge of a small vegetable patch, but it no longer looked normal. The soil shimmered faintly in the early morning light, glowing green, pulsing slowly, like a soft heartbeat. She knelt down, pressed her hand into the dirt, and felt warmth. Not the warmth of sunlight. This was something else, a presence. It felt alive. Then the whisper returned. "Era!" Her heart raced. She looked around. No one was there, just her and the soil. She pulled her hand back and stood up, eyes wide. For a moment, she thought she had imagined it. Then the garden shifted. A small vine pushed up from the ground. But this vine didn't grow like a normal plant. It moved in a spiral, then formed the shape of an eye. It blinked once and sank. Back into the soil, Era stumbled back. What is happening? Her grandmother came outside just then, carrying a basket. She froze when she saw Era's face. "You saw it, didn't you?" the old woman said. You know what this is?" Grandmother walked slowly to the garden and knelt. Her hands, wrinkled with age, gently touched the glowing soil. "When I was a girl," she whispered, "my father told me stories about beings that slept beneath the earth, about how one day when the sky grew dark, they would rise again." Era looked at her. "Are they real?" "Yes. And one has chosen you." Era stepped closer. "But why me? I'm not special." Her grandmother gave her a kind smile. "It's not about being special. It's about being ready. The earth speaks only to those who listen." That night, Era couldn't sleep. Her dreams were filled with strange images. Giants made of stone and root, battles in the sky, and a green light calling to her. When she awoke, the whisper was louder. "Go to the forest. The seed waits." She followed the voice. It led her beyond the fields, past the old river, and into the deep forest that no one entered anymore. Birds flew away as she walked. The wind was still. Trees leaned toward her like they knew. At the heart of the forest, she found a circle of stones, half buried and covered in moss. The ground inside the circle was glowing. In the center, a tall figure stood, cloaked in shadows. Era froze. Then the figure stepped forward. It was not human. Its body was made of bark and metal, twisted together like vines and wires. Its eyes glowed soft green. It spoke without moving its mouth. "You are the seed bearer," Era took a step back. What are you? I am a root walker. I guard the second seed, and now it is time to awaken it. The ground beneath the circle cracked open. Light poured out. Era felt it inside her chest, pulling her forward. Touch the soil, the root walker said. She knelt, placed both hands on the ground, and the forest exploded with life. Trees lit up with energy. Roots twisted upward, forming shapes in the air. The circle of stones lifted and began to spin slowly. Beneath her, the earth spoke again. Seed confirmed. Titan awakening. Era's eyes widened as the earth began to split. A giant arm rose from the ground made of crystal and living wood. Then another, then a head, with eyes as bright as stars. The second Titan had awakened. Far away, Juno felt it. Riding on his Titan's back, he paused. The soil beneath him hummed with a new rhythm. Gaia spoke softly. Another seed has bloomed. The second Titan, lives. Juno smiled. Where? Gaia showed him a map. A signal glowed from the southern forests, Ira's forest. We must go to her, Gaia said. She does not yet know the danger. Juno looked to the horizon. Black dots moved in the sky. Ships, enemy scouts. They're hunting the seeds, he whispered. Back in the forest, Aera stood before the newly awakened Titan. It watched her with calm eyes. She could feel its energy inside her mind. Strong, ancient, gentle. The root walker knelt. You must leave this place. The machines will come. The others will find you. You must join them. Others? Era asked. Yes, a boy named Juno has awakened the first Titan. Together you may still save the Earth. Era stepped forward, reached out to the Titan. It lowered its hand to her. She climbed on. Far above the forest, 3 dark ships appeared in the sky. Their shadows fell across the trees. The war machines had found her. The Titan raised its arms, and the forest rose with it. The second seed had chosen its bearer, and the machines would not take her easily. The sky turned black above the forest. Era stood on the shoulder of her Titan as the wind howled. Trees bent under the pressure of something heavy. 3 black ships hovered in the air, shaped like sharp blades, silent, deadly. Their red lights scanned the forest, searching. Inside the Titan, Aera felt her heart pounding. She wasn't ready for this. She had just awakened the seed, just begun to understand what she was. But there was no time. The Titan turned slowly to face the ships. It stood still, listening to the earth. Aera could feel its patience, like an old tree watching a coming storm. Gaia's voice echoed in her mind. The hunters have arrived. First scouts. Not full army, but dangerous. What do I do? Aera asked. Defend the seed. Protect your Titan. Help is coming. The ships opened. Thin, tall machines floated down. Their legs bent backward like insects. Their arms split into 3 long blades. Their faces had no eyes, only red slits of light. 10 of them landed near the stone circle. One stepped forward, pointing a blade at Aera. It spoke in a cold, metallic voice. Seedbearer, surrender. You are not ready. Aera narrowed her eyes. This is my home. I'm not giving it to machines. The hunter charged. The Titan reacted first. Its arm swung down and smashed into the earth, sending roots flying. The ground lifted like a wave, crashing into the machines. 3 of them were thrown into trees. The others jumped back, blades spinning. Aera held on tightly as the Titan stepped forward, protecting the circle. The root walker shouted from below, They want the core! Keep them back! Aera focused. She remembered how it felt when she first touched the soil, when the Titan had accepted her. She placed her hand on the panel near her, and the Titan glowed brighter. It moved faster now, with her thoughts. One hunter jumped high, trying to land on the Titan's back. Aera turned quickly. The Titan's vine snapped upward, wrapping around the attacker and pulling it down. The machine hit the ground hard and didn't get back up, but the others circled closer. One got under the Titan's legs and stabbed upward with a glowing blade. The Titan groaned. Sparks flew. Ira gasped and stumbled. "I can't do this alone," she cried. Then, she heard it, a loud thud. Then another. The ground far behind the trees shook. The hunters paused, turning their heads. A shadow appeared. In the sky, not a machine. Something bigger. Juno's Titan crashed through the tree line like a mountain walking. Its arms burned with green light. On its shoulder, Juno stood tall, wind blowing through his hair. His eyes locked on the machines. "You're not alone anymore," he shouted. The two Titans moved together. Juno's Titan swung its massive fist and smashed two hunters at once. Ira's followed, lifting a root-covered arm and striking a third. The machines tried to regroup, but the forest fought with the Titans. Vines shot from the ground, branches bent like whips. Even the trees groaned in anger. One of the ships above charged a blast of energy. Ira saw it. "They're going to fire!" "Let's stop them," Juno said. He raised both hands and his Titan copied him. The earth cracked. A large stone spear, covered in glowing green symbols, rose from the ground. "Together!" he shouted. Ira nodded. Her Titan raised its arm, and a second spear formed beside the first. The Titans threw them. The spears flew straight into the ship. The sky lit up as it exploded, breaking apart in flames. The force knocked back both Titans, but the hunters on the ground froze. One tried to run. Juno's Titan stomped the ground. Roots shot up and pulled the machine under. The battle was over. Smoke drifted through the trees. The soil glowed faintly again. Calm now. Ira sat down on the Titan's shoulder, shaking. Juno climbed down and walked toward her Titan. Ira met him halfway. They stared at each other for a moment. "You're Juno," she said. "And you're the second seed bearer," he replied with a tired smile. They shook hands. "I thought I was alone," she whispered. "Me too," Juno said. "But Earth brought us together for a reason." The root walker stepped forward. "You must move quickly. The enemy now knows 2 seeds have awakened. They will send more." Juno nodded. "Then we find the next one before they do." Ira looked up at her Titan. "There are more like this?" "Yes," Juno said. 5 more." The wind blew gently through the forest, but something heavy filled the air. The world was changing, and this was only the beginning. Above them, in the dark space beyond Earth, something stirred. A machine mind, vast, cold, watching. 2 seeds detected. Begin Phase 2. The true war was about to begin. The desert stretched for miles. Dry wind blew across the dunes, carrying silence and heat. But beneath the cracked surface, something ancient stirred. Far above, a machine drone circled. It scanned the sand below. Red lights blinked. A faint signal pulsed underground. The drone beeped. 3rd seed located. Mark for retrieval. But the Earth had other plans. Miles away, Juno and Ira traveled side by side. Their Titans walked slowly across the desert, each step leaving glowing footprints in the sand. The sun burned overhead, but both seed-bearers felt it. The pull. A faint humming deep in their bones. Gaia spoke to them through their shared link. Signal strong. 3rd seed near, deep beneath the dust. Ira wiped sweat from her forehead. "I don't see anything." Juno narrowed his eyes. "Wait. There." Ahead, a figure moved through the heat waves. A young man, covered in sand and gear, walked toward them with a shovel strapped to his back and a strange box in his hand. He was muttering to himself. Juno slowed his Titan. The man looked up, blinking at the giants before him. He didn't run. Instead, he grinned. "Took you long enough," he shouted. Ira and Juno looked at each other. The man walked closer. "Name's Kaido. I've been digging here for years. Something's been calling me, whispering in the sand." "You heard the Earth?" Ira asked. Kaido nodded. "Every night in my dreams, it says the same thing. Unearth the heart." Suddenly, the sand beneath their feet shifted. The ground rumbled. Juno looked down. "It's happening." A circle of ancient stone symbols revealed themselves through the sand. They began to glow, just like the others. Kaido stepped into the center without fear. He dropped to his knees and placed his hand on the sand. The earth responded. The desert roared. A massive hand burst from below, wrapped in golden crystal and layered with thick stone plates. Sand exploded into the air. Ira and Juno moved their titans back as a third titan rose from beneath the dunes. It was unlike the others, taller, leaner, with sharp lines like armor, and glowing orange light running down its limbs. It looked like it had been sleeping for 1,000 years under the desert sun. Kaido stared up in awe. "You're beautiful." The titan bent one knee. Its chest opened slightly, revealing a chamber. Gaia's voice echoed again. "Seed confirmed. Third pilot accepted." Kaido climbed, and at that moment red streaks appeared in the sky. Enemy ships. Era cursed under her breath. They followed us again. 5 drones dropped fast, blades spinning, claws ready. Kaido's eyes glowed orange inside the chamber. The titan moved. Fast. Too fast. It disappeared in a blur, then reappeared behind one of the drones. A long blade of pure energy extended from its arm. With a single slash, the drone split in two. Juno blinked. "Whoa, he's fast." The desert titan moved like wind, darting between drones, striking with speed and precision. Each time it slashed, sand blasted outward. The machines couldn't keep up. Juno's titan raised its arms and called down stone spikes. Ira's summoned a sandstorm using its vines. The 3 titans worked together like parts of a single body. The last drone tried to flee, but Kaido's titan leapt high into the air and brought it down with a spinning strike. Silence returned to the desert. Kaido stepped out, smiling wide. "That was amazing." Era grinned. "Looks like the Earth chose well." Juno pulled out a small device. 3 titans awakened. 4 left. But the enemy is moving faster now. They'll be ready for us. Gaia's voice returned, more serious this time. "You must move north. There is another seed hidden in the frozen lands, but the machines are already searching there." Kaido looked to the sky. "Then we beat them to it." Far across the planet, in a frozen tundra under thick ice, a machine ship landed. It began to drill. Inside the ship, a tall figure stood. Its body was silver, sleek, and full of scars. Its voice was sharp as a knife. "The next titan will not awaken. We will destroy the seed before it bonds." Back in the desert, the 3 pilots stood on their titans. The wind howled, pushing sand across the open land. Juno looked at his friends. "This is just the beginning," Era nodded. "The titans chose us for a reason." Kaido pointed north. "Then let's find the next one, before they do." The earth watched, and far below the ice, the 4th seed pulsed with light. The wind screamed across the frozen wasteland. Snowflakes danced in the air like tiny knives, cutting through the silence. Everything was white and cold. No trees, no animals, just ice. But under that ice, something was waiting. Far above, a black machine ship hovered. Its metal claws drilled into the glacier, sending cracks deep below. Inside the ship stood a tall figure, smooth, silver, and sharp. The leader of the hunters. They called him Wraith. Wraith's voice echoed like static. "The seed is under the ice. It must not awaken. Prepare the disruptor." Back on the edge of the tundra, 3 titans stood tall, one made of crystal and vines, one of earth and stone, and the third glowing like desert fire. Their pilots stood together, wrapped in thick thermal suits. Juno looked through his scope. "That's the ship. They've already started digging." Kaido frowned. "So they're trying to destroy the seed before it even wakes up." Ira touched the frozen ground. "The earth is weak here, like it's asleep." Gaia spoke softly in their minds. "The 4th seed is deep, under 10 layers of ice. You must reach it before the disruptor activates." "How long do we have?" Juno asked. 1 hour. No more words. They moved fast. The titans walked slowly across the frozen land, every step cracking the thick ice. The wind made it hard to see, but the glow from the hunter's ship lit the way. As they got closer, Enemy drones flew out to stop them. 5 machines came first, then 10, flying low, shooting sharp bolts of energy. Kaido's Titan moved first, fast and sharp like a blade. It dodged blasts and struck back with glowing whips of light. Juno's Titan raised a wall of stone to protect the others, while Era's used its vines to trap 2 flying machines and crush them in mid-air. Still, more came. "Too many," Era shouted. Juno's eyes narrowed. "We need a distraction," Kaido grinned. "Leave it to me." His Titan launched forward like a rocket, glowing with heat even in the cold. It crashed into the center of the machine, spinning and slashing. Sparks lit up the night sky. The SCIFI machines followed him just as planned. Juno and Era made their way toward the drilling site. The ground shook as the disruptor charged. Wraith stepped to the edge of the ship, looking down at the ice. "Too late," he said. "The seed will die before it bonds." But the Earth wasn't finished yet. Era placed her hand on the ice. Her fingers burned from the cold, but she didn't stop. She closed her eyes. "Please," she whispered. "Wake up. We need you." The ice beneath her glowed faintly, blue and white. And then it cracked. Juno backed up quickly as a soft hum filled the air. The glacier split open. A huge shadow rose from the depths, taller than all 3 Titans combined. Its body was made of ancient frozen steel, covered in ice. Snow poured off its shoulders. As it stood up fully, arms wide like a guardian waking from a long sleep, the 4th Titan had awakened, its chest opened. A soft blue light glowed from within. Era gasped. "But no one's there." Then a shape moved in the snow. A girl, barefoot, in a thin dress. No coat, no gloves. Yet the cold didn't touch her. She walked slowly toward the Titan, eyes glowing. Soft blue. She reached the open chamber and stepped inside. The Titan closed. Wraith screamed, "No! Activate the disruptor! Now!" The machine fired a beam of black energy toward the ice, but it never reached. The 4th Titan raised its hand. A wall of frost shot into the sky, freezing the beam in mid-air. The black energy turned to crystal and shattered. Then, with a roar, the Titan stepped forward. Its arm turned into a blade of pure ice. It struck the ground, and a wave of frost shot forward, freezing the legs of the machine ship. The ground cracked. The ship began to fall. Wraith jumped off, landing far away, metal feet hissing in the snow. The girl inside the Titan spoke for the first time, her voice deep and layered with echoes. "I am Naira, seed of the North. You will not take this world." She raised both arms. A storm formed above. Juno, Era, and Kaido watched as snow twisted into spears, as the cold itself became a weapon. The remaining enemy machines froze and shattered. The ship crashed into the ice and exploded. Silence returned, but this time, it was powerful. Juno walked forward and looked up at the massive new Titan. "We've got 4 now," he said. "Only 3 seeds left." Naira stepped out of her Titan. She looked young, maybe 16, but her eyes were old. "I've been dreaming of this moment since I was born," she said. "I knew you'd come." Era smiled. "Then let's not waste time. The machines won't." "Stop," Gaia's voice whispered once more. 3 remain. 1 under the oceans. 1 inside the sky. 1 lost in time. Kaido raised an eyebrow. "Lost in time?" Juno looked to the horizon. The war wasn't over. It had just reached its coldest battlefield, and somehow, the next one might be even stranger. They turned to leave the tundra behind. Far away, Wraith crawled out of the wreckage, body broken, but still burning with hatred. He whispered into his, "Come, begin the full invasion, no more waiting, end the seed bearers now." The final chapter was coming.